One of the main things I cover regarding the Transformers movies are the average height and large robots, pretty much describing how destructive they can be with their size. But I think it's only right that I take time to give credit to the little guy who made a difference in the Autobot and Decepticon tug-of-war. Because sometimes it isn't that the character is too small, it's that the world's just too big.
Oh, look at this mother...
What's going on, guys? My name is RBG and I'm bringing you my top 10 list of the strongest small Transformers in the live action movies. I repeat, live action movies. I want to make this clear because I know it's inevitable that I'm going to get questions asking why I didn't include certain Transformers who weren't in the films. So I hope I don't have to worry about clarifying this in the comments later. I also want to make it clear that yes, I'll be using sites like TFWiki to get stats on characters to avoid throwing out misinformation. But it's not word for word. I still put my own flavor on the info and I give my own opinions. But getting back on track, I got a lot of comments on my top 10 Giants and Combiners video asking me to do a similar list on the small Transformers. So I thought it would only be right that I followed suit. Now I gotta admit that it was hard ranking the characters on this list because not everyone shows how strong they are through sheer strength alone. So I'm not gonna just rank them on their physicalities, I'm gonna also base it on their techniques and strategies. Before we get into this list, I want to remind the viewers that this video is sponsored by Beautiful Halo. If you're a man or woman of culture who loves anime, games, and dank memes, then I highly recommend checking out their merch. They have a wide variety of stylish hoodies and other cool apparel that'll have your friends mad jealous. By using this promotional code, you get 5% off any $49 purchase or higher. So slide on over to beautifulhalo.com. The link will be in the description box below. Number 10. Brains. This Don King hairdo rocking bot was introduced to us in Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon. Originally created as a Decepticon unit to download data, Brains decided to take notes from his buddy Willie and defect over to the Autobots. The little guy has a knack for observing the smallest details and he's the go-to robot when you need explanations. He's able to interact with computer accessories while in robot mode and he's constantly thinking, which is made known by his fiber optic hair which is always smoking. Unfortunately, Brains doesn't come with the bronze commonly seen with other former Decepticons, because he's really easy to push around. Sometime after the Battle of Chicago, he was captured and badly damaged. He was already a physically impaired Transformer since he had a malformed body and he hobbled when he walked around, but thanks to those damn humans, it was made worse. He now has to use his own dismembered right leg as a crutch. Shortly after he was captured, he was then imprisoned in the KSI headquarters in Chicago and he was forced to decipher the minds of deceased Transformers so KSI could build their own robots. So this little guy has seen some things. Number 9 is Willie. Willie is basically Brains with a small man complex. He just loves to talk smack even though he more than likely can't back it up. That's why he's one of my favorite Transformers. Because for a little guy, he has a huge potty mouth which is made apparent when you piss him off.
What are you doing here, you little freak? Ow, that's my eye, you crazy bitch!
He's essentially a robot version of Joe Pesci. Just like the number 10 candidate on this list, Willie is also a Decepticon turned Autobot. Originally, he was sent to spy on TFWiki to get more information on the Cube Sliver. His eyes are equipped with a high-tech thermal camera, but his stealth skills could use a little work. That's why he was easily apprehended by Michaela in Revenge of the Fallen. And the only other ability he has is transforming into a toy truck. Despite being with the Autobots for some time in Dark of the Moon, Willie still has a Decepticon insignia on his back just like Jetfire had. Guess the poor guy can't get a new paint job to save his life. There's not really much to boast about regarding his stature on the Transformer roster, like he doesn't seem to feature any weapons other than his mouth. And like his friend Brains, he's pretty useless when it comes to combat. But thanks to his tiny body and sharp teeth, he can infiltrate and chew through the circuitry of a Decepticon mothership, completely destroying it and causing all the drones around it to malfunction in the process. This is the main reason why him and Brains made it onto this list, because it's the little things that matter. Cock-blocking her way into the 8th spot is the Pretender, better known as Alice. Get rid of those blow-up dolls, because Alice is every raging virgin's wet dream. That's until she unwinds and reveals her true form. These Transformers are a rare breed. They specialize in infiltration using a special external shell of armor to disguise themselves as the inhabitants they come across. Our girl Alice knows how to take all of the best features and use them to her advantage. She can turn on the charm and she's pretty straightforward with what she wants, and she also has a pretty high sex drive. During an intense meeting with Sam, she showed how easily she could persuade him with her looks as she stealthily retracted her tail to end him. She came pretty close to getting the job done until his girlfriend,
X.
ex-girlfriend walked in on him having an interspecies relationship with the fembot. After Michaela broke things off with Sam, it was on and popping. Alice unleashed all her pent-up frustration on the tip of her tongue and wrapped it around Sam's neck. Thankfully, Michaela had a change of heart and saved Sam from having one of the worst sexual encounters of his life. But Alice wasn't about to get rejected so easily. She completely stripped down and gave chase to Sam and his crew. You would think she only tongued guys, but she was more than happy to share with Michaela and Leo as she stuck her tongue through the windshield. She was a pretty resilient Decepticon, but like most females, she was a little too frail. Thanks to Michaela's vindictive road rage, she got her revenge on Alice by ramming her into a pole. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Kiss this bitch.
Coming in at number 7 is Squeaks. Yeah, I know you're just as surprised as I am that he made it onto this list, but the little guy has heart and he's very effective if you use him right. During a run-in with TRF Walker drones, he performed an old maneuver by tripping them with wires while his partner Izzy led a group of kids to safety. And he played a good decoy, distracting Megatron and his Decepticon minions, allowing Cade to set off one of his traps. He isn't the biggest or toughest Autobot, but what he lacks in strength, he makes up with his determination and devotion to his friend. Earlier in TF5, he gets his arm blasted off and he has to be replaced with this oversized Decepticon arm that makes him look like Quasimodo. It also makes him slower than he already is. But the new upgrade packs a punch. After Willie calls him ugly, Squeaks uses his arm to flick him away.
He was an ugly little robot.
And during the big battle to save the Earth, he was able to blow up a Decepticon turret gun by using his new arm that stores a massive blaster in it. I guess big things really do come in small packages. Trash talking his way to the number 6 spot is Mohawk. He was the first Decepticon opted to work with Megatron and Transformers The Last Night. The TRF fulfilled Megatron's request by releasing Mohawk out of custody, with him flying off at the mouth threatening to kill everyone.
What up, fellas? Man, I want to kill you right now.
The dude never seems to shut up. Despite his loyalty, Megatron never really acknowledges it, which is most likely due to Mohawk's talkative nature, not to mention the fact that he does little to back up his claims. He's basically the Decepticon hype man.
Oh yeah, Decepticons is in the street.
Now admittedly, I only put this guy on the list because he was considered highly dangerous to TRF. His other Decepticon brothers were locked up for things like robbery and triple murder, but they don't really go into details what Mohawk did to get locked up in the first place. He's just a foot soldier who transforms into a Confederate motorcycle. After joining with Megatron and the other Decepticons, he was quickly taken out by explosives and his body was blasted to pieces by Bumblebee. On the bright side, he still managed to survive as a talking head.
This ain't right.
Number 5, Frenzy. Probably one of the most versatile Decepticon stealth spies, Frenzy was one of the first small bots in the Bayverse. Living up to his name, he's this hypermanic and sometimes comedic character that can infiltrate tightly guarded facilities. When I first saw him in the movies, I was a little disappointed because he doesn't really mirror any of his G1 traits. He doesn't turn his arms into power drivers, and he doesn't turn into a massive cassette tape that comes out of Soundwave's chest. But there is an awesome reference where he scans and transforms into a boombox. Thanks to his lightweight body, he was able to be picked up by a stewardess on Air Force One and carried to the lower deck where he was able to hack into the defense network to access files on the Allspark. Shortly after that, he was discovered by Secret Service agents, and that's where we found out that Frenzy has a lot of bite to go with his bark. He's armed with automatic weapons and disc blades that fire out of his chest. Unlike most small bots on the list, he's really fast and super hard to kill. The dude has a modular nervous system that allows him to sustain enormous amounts of damage. At one point in the movie, he got his head cut off and he still managed to survive, scanning and taking the form of a mobile phone belonging to Michaela to continue his task. This means he has the ability to reconfigure into any kind of device he wants, no matter how much of his body has been altered or damaged. He was a tough cookie, but he ultimately succumbed to his own attack after one of his blades ricocheted back to him. Clawing his way up to the 4th spot is Ravage. One of Soundwave's most trusty servants, this Wildcat loves doing his master's dirty work, and he doesn't necessarily like any of his other Decepticon companions. As a matter of fact, he considers them totally beneath him since they lack the ability to get the job done like he does. Like most of the other robots on this list, Ravage is an infantry Decepticon and probably the best out of the bunch. He managed to sneak into Nest's holding facility by barfing up these tiny transformers called Microcons, little beads that combine to form a razor-thin Decepticon called Reedman. After acquiring the Q sliver, him and his Microcon buddy were outnumbered by security. As the human soldiers attempted to stop Reedman, Ravage provided cover fire, killing several humans in the process. His main weapons are his tritanium claws and his back-mounted guns and missile launchers. Unfortunately, none of these accessories could prevent him from getting his spine brutally ripped from his anus. Number 3 is the triple threat tag team, the Arcee Twins. This was a pretty interesting candidate because although it consists of 3 members, they aren't all their own individual characters. After her and her sister's bodies were destroyed, Arcee's spark somehow merged with Alita 1 and Chromia's new bodies, giving them linked minds. So she now has the power to control all 3 bodies at once, hence the name Arcee Twins. And this ability makes them really dangerous. For one, the twins share Arcee's firepower as well as her accuracy, so they can attack with extremely precise timing. In one of the concepts, it showed that the twins were intended to combine into a singular, larger robot in Revenge of the Fallen. This was really cool because it would have made the merged spark more effective since they already work in perfect unison as separate bots. But Michael Bay chose to scrap the idea for fear of the confusion it would cause given how much else was going on in the film, as if his movies weren't already confusing enough. Sadly, the Arcee Twins aren't really utilized that much in TF2. They get a pretty cool scene at the beginning showcasing their skills, but after that they get pushed to the back, and the action scenes that they were in, they got pwned pretty easily. During an escort mission, 2 of the Arcee bodies got shot down, leaving only the Chromia component remaining operational when she was last seen. Coming in at number 2, we got 2 of the most controversial figures in TF lore, Skids and Mudflap. These guys weren't really well received after they made their debut on the silver screen. Some fans say they didn't like them because they were walking stereotypes.
Can you read this?
Read? Nah, we don't really do much reading.
But I say it's because their comedy just wasn't funny. Skids and Mudflap were basically 2 bland flavored Kool-Aid jammers with a splash of Michael Bay cringe. They look like low budget versions of Golden Army soldiers from Hellboy. But anyways, these guys share a close bond, even though they find themselves at odds with each other over what vehicle mode they're gonna use. Similar to the Arcee Twins, Skids and Mudflap share the same spark, except they're a byproduct of their spark being split into 2 separate ones. This is why they have their own individual personalities, and it's probably why the 2 don't really work in conjunction with one another unless they absolutely have to. Shortly after arriving on Earth, they chose the combined form of an old beat-up ice cream truck, and this particular strategy didn't necessarily work in their favor. Because of how slow their new alt mode was, they couldn't keep up with their target sideways, and their poor drifting skills and lack of group cohesion caused them to literally tear apart. With their newer vehicle modes, they were actually able to put in a lot more work. For example, although he was swallowed by Devastator, Mudflap was able to break through the giant combiner's face. It's highly speculated that he was able to survive the vortex because of how strong his armor was. As you can see, Devastator was spewing up smoke as if one of Mudflap's parts got stuck in his throat. To aid the humans in escaping, Skids clambered up Devastator's right forepaw to assist Mudflap. However, Mudflap accidentally shot him in the face, leaving him with a huge Cybertronian dental bill.
Oh man, you shot me in the face!
Number 1. Cogman. This dude is undoubtedly the most complex small bot on this list, and he's most likely been on Earth longer than any of the other contenders. The crazy Kung Fu butler has been serving the Wickwicken's bloodline for centuries, and he has a distinctive split personality, describing himself as a sociopath. I guess you can say the years drove him a little mad since one minute he's polite and the next minute he's coming at your throat for rubbing him the wrong way.
Shall I take his head off, madam?
Tempting, but I can defend my own honor.
But I do so very much want to crush his windpipe.
But it's because he expects others to respect traditions. If you don't, he'll quickly launch himself at you in a fit of rage. And boy does he kick tons of ass. No matter the size of his opponent, Cogman can easily outwit and sometimes outpower them. He has a keen eye for weak points, which is made apparent when he easily brings down Crosshairs by breaking his finger.
What's with the C-3PO ripoff?
Don't kill the messenger, or the messenger will kill you.
We're talking about a human-sized transformer besting a high-ranking Autobot who's twice his size. Not only is he a good fighter, he's also a good musician and singer. If you don't mind having a butler who adds more flair to your folktales, then Cogman's your guy. Oh, and did I mention he's a hands-on chef? During an underwater escapade, he torpedoed himself out of a submarine to go catch some fish. After that, he quickly whipped up a delicious looking sushi dinner for Cade and Vivian. The guy's considered the headmaster, but for some reason he doesn't really put his abilities to use in the movies, which is sad because his toy features the gimmick. Nonetheless, he's still an awesome Autobot that really made a difference in the battle against Quintessa's forces. If it wasn't for him sticking by Sir Edmund Burton's side throughout the years, they wouldn't have gotten to where they were. Burton would essentially be helpless since Cogman is his muscle as well as his personal chauffeur. I mean, the two share an equal amount of road rage.
Move, bitch, get out of my way. Move, bitch, get out of my way.
That's why our human-sized wind-up toy is numero uno. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It took a great deal of time to make, but it was fun. The smaller Transformers don't get enough credit for being tough cookies. They're obviously outnumbered and outshined by some of the standard sized robots, but they're just as capable. Here's to the little guy and more awesome moments to come. But with that, I like to end the video. What are your thoughts on this list? Do you agree with my rankings? And what small robot would you add that I didn't? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on my channel. But if you really enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it on social media outlets with all your friends and followers. Sharing really makes a difference. But this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.